and they implement it. But the leader is the one that creates, and they are the original. The leader develops. The leader focuses on people. They're very selfless. A lot of their thinking is not about them. It's about the group. It's about everyone. The leader has no personal intentions involved. It's all about the people, or in betterment for the organization. Okay? The leader inspires trust. And for me personally, I think trust is earned, not really gained. People have to trust you. So it's through their actions, through some of the acts that they do, the way they talk, to communicate, some of the plans that they come up with, some of their projects. Then people will jump on board and they will begin to trust and give full faith in that leader. Okay. Talked about this before. Leaders have a long range of perspective. And then I like this quote as well. True leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. So continuing, this will be the last slide for characteristics. So the leader asks what and why. You're always questioning, because you really have to have clarity in order to implement a plan. So it's through asking those questions. Wait, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Or what is the purpose? What will be the end result? Why would this help people? These are those kind of questions that leaders will ask. Okay? Leader has their eye on the future. We talked about this before. The leader originates. The leader challenges it. And it's challenging through asking those questions. Okay? The leader is their own person. Now, with this one, I have a personal connection to it because I learned more about myself, learning about leadership than I did with anything else. And you'll get an example of that as we start talking about the different styles of leadership. Because some styles of leadership, it doesn't fit who I am. And one of the challenges that they say with good leaders is that considering what your environment is, you have to learn different types of leadership. You have to be able to switch it on, even though that's not necessarily you, because it fits for that environment. And the leader does what's right. So if we're talking about styles again, so we're actually going to talk about them in the next slide. But for example, if we're talking about the environment, let's say the military. Military is huge with the authoritative style of leadership. That may not be you as a person. You may like a different type of leadership style. That doesn't fit you. I don't like telling people what to do. That's not who you are. But considering the environment and what you're dealing with in the military, protecting people's lives, then you have to do what's right. You have to adopt to that new style of leadership. Here's some other quotes. I have one and one more after this. Just a couple of quotes talking about leadership. I really love this one. It's called Depth and Breadth. And it's really funny because everybody knows that, jack of all trades, master to none. That would be the first quote here. But looking at the opposition, they'll say that they're a mile deep and only a half inch wide. So what that means is that one person, so jack of all trades is this. Somebody knows a little bit about everything. So at least let's just say introductory level. I know introductory a little bit about math, I know a little bit about science, I know a little bit about communications, I know a little bit about athletics and training. Okay, I know a little bit about English. I'm versatile in everything. So that would be a jack of all trades, master to none. Now, if we're talking about somebody who's a mile deep and a half inch wide, that means they know one subject. Let's just call it science. They know everything about science. They can explain it to it. They can explain science to you like the back of their hand. But ask them about another subject. Ask them about athletics. Oh, I don't know anything. Ask them about English. I don't know anything about that. So leaders have to understand what depth and breadth is. Broader range perspectives, and also being in depth, understanding how much information they know within that particular topic. I know it's impossible to have both, but still leaders can attempt to have this. And if I was going to choose one, as coming from a leadership perspective, I would definitely choose Jack of all trades, master of none. This one I found is very interesting. I can live without doubt and uncertainty. Well, actually, let me take a step back. Who stated this? Richard, if I'm saying his name correctly, Feynman, the Nobel Prize winner, stated, I can live without doubt and uncertainty and not knowing. I think it's much more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers that might be wrong. How many times have you seen people that think they know everything? I have the answer. Let's do it. And then they turn out and implement it, and they're completely wrong. That's what they're talking about here. Leaders will always come and say, I do not know the answer. I say it all the time. I'm ignorant to this topic. I'm not sure. And this is the reason why, if I was to choose one, I'd rather have the jack of all trades. Because you can use your leadership to ask others in the group about the depth. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the CEOs in for this big multi-billion dollar corporation. And he said, the CEO said, I like to surround myself with people who are smarter than me. And that's true leadership. Don't get me wrong, he's a smart gentleman, but he doesn't know everything. So I can surround myself with people who do have that depth. So it makes me smarter. So there's 3 types of leadership. And I'm going to do a quick little exercise with everyone. This is something I actually did with my high school kids. And I figured high school kids can get it, of course adults can get it. That's easy. Okay. So the 3 types of leadership are autocratic, or they call it a command style leadership. So autocratic leader will say this. Let's everybody stand up. So that's what autocratic is. I didn't ask you your opinion. I didn't ask you what you think. I commanded you do what I tell you to do. This is autocratic leadership. Democratic. It's a little different. Would you like to sit down?
Yes.
Would you like to sit down?
Sure.
Put your hands. How many of you would like to sit down? Okay. So how about we all sit down at a count of 3? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Let's sit down. So what I did there was democratic leaders ask everyone, they come to consensus. Everyone's involved in the decision-making process. There is no command. Leaders do not move forward without the group's approval. That's democratic leadership style. Last one, if I'm saying this correctly, laissez-faire, which is the complete opposite of your autocratic leadership style. So, this is what I would like you all to do. Tell me when to have you stand up.
5 minutes. Let's do it in 5 minutes.
It's a little bit more practical.
Let's not stand up.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Participating.
Okay. Okay. Well, for sake of exercise, what should have happened is that laissez-faire leadership style is the group tells the leader what to do. This is what we want from you, to tell us what to do. The group is commanding the leader. Excuse me?
So the group is telling you to tell us what to do?
Yes. Yes. The followers.
So what do you mean that, for example, with this whole stand-up motion, like when Jesus said, let's not stand up, I think it would be a great idea if we didn't stand up because it will impede the blah, 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 blah. Is that what you mean? Like that would be the, okay.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose of why I said it, because I
Right.
so if you notice in American history, laissez-faire was kind of got a deal that Englishmen had here towards the crown in 76.
Right.
So let's not pay taxes.
Right.
That's what he said.
Perfectly correct, yes. And if you, another term for it, for laissez-faire, it's more of, they call it a servant leader. The leader is at the group's beckoning or will. So that's another way of looking at it. Now see if this will work for me. I have a clip for you. I know. And I love this. I love this movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Absolutely love it. And the reason why I love this movie is because they do a really good job at depicting leadership. Now, before I play the clip, because it's interesting, a lot of people, or some, will say, oh, I want to be a leader, or they want to be in that leadership role. But after some people learn about leadership, they may not want that position or role anymore. You're like, I'm good, I don't want to be a leader. And it was actually kind of interesting too, because my high school kids, I would teach them about leadership, and none of them wanted it. It was a very select few that were willing to step up and play that role. Because it's not all glorious as you think it is. But it's still good to understand and have those skills. Okay? So yeah, I'll play this clip, hopefully it will work, and try to look at it more from a leadership perspective. Okay? I'm going to fast forward just a little bit of it, so bear with me. Oh, there's no sound.
There's an audio on there. They tried down there. On your screen. Back to the yeah, the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, make sure it's there as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
should come out of here.
Oh, yeah. Computer bug when they
And then check it, yeah. on the computer as well. Oh, yes. All the options, I think.
That's okay, I can explain it. That's fine.
Okay.
Really following him through the story.
Respecting he is the alpha. This film, Caesar's got to deal with his own flock. He's got to make choices. People respecting he is the alpha. This film, Caesar's got to...
All right.
Sort of a revolutionary, and watch as he became a leader.
You're really following him through the story.
He's a very natural leader, Caesar. People respecting he is the alpha. This film, Caesar's got to deal with his own flock. He's got to make choices and compromises that not everyone respects.
It's one thing to be a revolutionary, it's another thing to have a difficult moral dilemma.
Human lies!
Caesar character has empathy and compassion.
What he sees is